web lecture series on practical zoology being organized by the Department of Zoology of Sarojini Naidu College. Extend a very warm welcome to our today's speaker, who is a faculty of City College at present. And he will be giving us a presentation today about protein separation by SDS Page. Before his presentation, I would request Nivedita to kindly introduce the speaker.
Okay, thank you, Aniruddha. Okay, am I visible and am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay, thank you. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the second day webinar session organized by the Department of Zoology, Sarojini Naidu College for Women. Before we start our session, here is a brief introduction of today's invited speaker, Dr. Orkodeep Mitra. Dr. Mitra, after obtaining his master's degree in zoology from the University of Calcutta, he joined in the same department for pursuing PhD as a UGC Junior Research Fellow under the guidance of Professor Sagar Tirtha Sarkar in 2009. After completing his PhD in 2014, Dr. Mitra moved to Tripura University, where he served as a tenured faculty in the Department of Zoology. Finally, he joined in City College, where he is presently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Zoology. Apart from this, Dr. Mitra is also involved in postgraduate teaching in the Department of Genetics, University of Calcutta, as a guest faculty. Dr. Mitra has continued his postdoctoral research under the mentorship of Professor Sagar Tirtha Sarkar in the Department of Zoology, and till date, he has 11 publications in the international journals, and today he is going to deliver a lecture on demonstration of protein separation by the SDS page for the students. Now, Dr. Mitra, you may proceed with your lecture. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your nice introduction. I'll quickly move on to my lecture. The slides are visible?
Yes.
Okay. I welcome all the participants and all other faculty members of Sarojini Naidu College for Women. And I really thank the organizers for inviting me to deliver a talk on demonstration of protein separation by SDS Page as a part of the web lecture series on practical course. First, let us know what is electrophoresis. Electrophoresis is basically an electrokinetic process which separates charged particles in a fluid using a field of electrical charge. If we just break down the term, phoresis means movement and electrophoresis means movement under the influence of an electrical field. Now, we can separate different types of charged particles using this technique, among which nucleic acid and protein are the major ones. And different properties can be integrated with this electrophoresis technique. Mostly, we separate the molecules on the basis of size of the molecule, that is, the molecular weight of the interest molecule. Now let's know what are the basic steps of SDS Page. SDS page, if we elaborate the term, is sodium dodecyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis. Okay, so I'll explain what is polyacrylamide gel and what is SDS. First, let us know what are the basic steps. First and foremost step is preparation of the protein that we want to separate by using SDS page. We may prepare the protein freshly from a tissue sample or a cell sample. Otherwise, we can also use stored protein previously isolated from a sample for separating using SDS page. Now, simultaneously, we have to cast the gel, that is the polyacrylamide gel. After protein is prepared and the gel is cast, we have to load the protein into the gel. Then we have to set up an electrophoresis apparatus where the migration will take place. Then we have to run the gel. After that, when the run is complete, we have to stain the gel properly so that we can visualize the protein bands within it. Now, since this is a web lecture on practical course, I will show you some video demonstrations of each of these steps so that I can explain the technique properly. First is protein preparation. As I told you in my previous slide, protein preparation is the most important and critical step, because if you cannot prepare protein accurately, the protein will be degraded and you will observe either no result or false positive result within your gel. So you have to be very cautious when you prepare the protein. Let's see how protein preparation is done. You have the protein samples in different tubes, and first what you need to do, you have to take loading buffer which contains SDS, beta-mercaptoethanol, bromophenol blue and glycerol. Add the loading buffer into the samples. Then simply place the tubes within a dry bath. You can also use a water bath for this. You have to boil the protein at around 95 to 100 degrees centigrade for 4 to 5 minutes. Why? Because proteins have very complex structure. We all know that proteins are basically linear chains of amino acids linked together by peptide bonds. Now, these amino acids also form different bonds like hydrogen bond, ionic bond, hydrophobic interaction, as well as disulfide bond, which these bonds create complexity of the protein structure. Now, you need to break down this complex protein structure so that you can separate the protein on the basis of molecular weight, and the protein can migrate properly through your gel. To break down this secondary or tertiary interactions, you have to use two different very important chemicals within the loading buffer. One is SDS, or sodium dodecyl sulfate. What sodium dodecyl sulfate does, it breaks down all those interactions except the disulfide bond. Look, Sodium dodecyl sulfate has a polar head group and a non-polar long tail. When it interacts with the protein, it breaks down the bonds. And beta mercaptoethanol, which is also used in the buffer, breaks down the disulfide bond. There is another function of this sodium dodecyl sulfate. It actually masks the peptide by a cloud of negative charge. We all know that proteins have different types of charge. Some proteins are positively charged, some are neutral, and some are negatively charged. When sodium dodecyl sulfate masks the protein by negative charge, all the protein will move towards the same direction in the gel. That is, from the negative electrode to the positive electrode. So now that your protein preparation is done, you can also simultaneously cast the gel, or you can also cast the gel afterwards. Let's see how it is done. You have to prepare two different gels. One is separating gel or resolving gel, another one is stacking gel. Now, both the gels contain same ingredients: acrylamide, bisacrylamide, ammonium persulfate, and timide. Okay. Now, for casting the gel, you need to have two different glass plates. One is a notch plate and other one is a full glass plate. And you have to just pour your gel solution within these two glass plates so that the gel is properly cast. Okay. Now these two gels have different pH. Okay. Both resolving gel as well as stacking gel, they are very important since they aid in proper orientation of the proteins and proper resolution of the samples. Okay. Now let's see how the gels are poured into the plates. These are the glass plates, the notch and the complete plate, and these two are the spacers. First, you have to pour the separating gel within the glass plates. The gels contain, as I told you before, polyacrylamide, which is composed of two different ingredients, acrylamide as well as bisacrylamide. What acrylamide does, under the influence of ammonium persulfate, which is APS, that provides some free radicals, acrylamide produces linear chains, and timide serves as an inducer molecule that fastens the reaction. Look, the linear chains are being created. Bisacrylamide forms crosslinks within those linear chains. Look, after this, you have to pour the stacking gel onto it and place a gel comb. This gel comb creates wells within which you have to load the samples. After you have cast your gel, you have to set up the electrophoresis apparatus. You have to release the comb and then place the glass plates within the electrodes. Next, you have to take an electrophoresis chamber within which the electrodes along with the glass plates are placed, and you have to add running buffer which will aid in protein migration. Next, after you have set up your electrophoresis apparatus, now you have to load the protein into the gel. Let's see how it is done. See, in one of the wells, you have to load a protein ladder. Which is a protein ladder? Protein ladder is basically a mixture of proteins with different molecular weights tagged with different chromophores. Like in the sample, we see different proteins, 7 kilodalton, 120 kilodalton, 86 kilodalton, 18 kilodalton, and 42 kilodalton markers, which are present within the protein ladder. So this protein ladder, what it will do, it will actually aid you to understand the molecular weight of your sample. Otherwise, will not understand what are the molecular weights of the proteins that are present within your sample. Next. So first you load the protein ladder into the first well. After that, you have to add the protein samples that you prepared in step 1. Now, in the loading buffer, there was bromophenol blue and glycerol. What glycerol does, it actually increases the density of the sample, so that when you load the sample into this well, the sample is not spilled out. It is properly loaded into the well. What bromophenol blue does, it serves as a marker. It is a very small molecule, so it will migrate faster than your protein sample. And when bromophenol blue, which is present in the gel as a blue band, will reach the brim of the plate or the end part of the gel, then you just stop the migration. Look, all the samples are now being loaded. And as you have loaded all the proteins as well as the protein ladder, you are ready to start the run. That is the process of electrophoresis. Look, now this is the complete electrophoresis chamber, which contains the electrodes as well as the glass plates. And this is the power pack, which supplies power for the run. And these are the black and red ones are the power cables, which are connected between the electrode and the power pack. Look how migration is occurring. Protein, as it is masked by the anionic detergent sodium dodecyl sulfate, it has a net negative charge. So any protein, whatever might be its net charge, it will always migrate from the negative electrode to the positive electrode. Another thing, look, the polyacrylamide gel, which is composed of acrylamide as well as base acrylamide, creates a mesh-like structure, as you can see. Now, the smaller proteins, which means the proteins which have
It seems the speaker is having some connectivity problems, so please bear with us and wait for a few minutes.
Dr. Mitra has unfortunately been disconnected, so he's joining again. Please wait.
I'm sorry, I was just disconnected and I'll again resume from where I left. Okay, so I was explaining this, that the smaller proteins will migrate faster, whereas the larger proteins will migrate slower, since this cross-link structure will inhibit the larger proteins compared to the smaller proteins. And hence, the low molecular weight protein will give a band on the lower side of the gel, whereas the protein with higher molecular weight will give a band on upper side of the gel. Next, what is the importance of using this discontinuous gel system, the stacking gel as well as the resolving gel? Let's explain this. When we had cast the gel, we used two different gels. One was the separating gel, another one was the stacking gel. Without stacking gel, what would happen? The proteins will enter the separating gel at different time points. Hence, the separation will not be accurate. So, we will get a smear-like structure rather than bands. Now, within the stacking gel, there are basically 3 different molecules other than the protein. These 3 molecules are present in the running buffer. They are tris, chloride, and glycine. Now, chloride is obviously negatively charged. Glycine can be in 3 different ionization states. The isoelectric point for glycine is 5.97. In this pH value, it has neutral charge. If the pH value is lower than its isoelectric point, then glycine will be positively charged. Whereas, if the pH value is greater than the isoelectric point of glycine, then it will be negatively charged. Okay, so these 3 are ionization states of glycine. Now, the stacking gel has a pH of 6.8, whereas the running buffer has a pH of 8.3. So in this pH, the glycine will be negatively charged. However, when it enters the stacking gel, where the pH is 6.8, which is close to the isoelectric point of glycine, what will happen when glycine ions will enter from pH 8.3 from running buffer to the stacking gel? Its migration speed will be slower, because when a molecule reaches its isoelectric point, it almost stops migration towards any electrode. So when glycine ions will enter from 8.3 to 6.8 pH, they will show very slow migration. As a result of this, what will happen? Chloride ions, which are highly anionic, will move fastest. In between, there will be the protein molecules, and then there will be glycine molecules. So protein will be actually sandwiched between chloride and glycinate ions. This will give a band-like appearance of the proteins. If we don't use this technique, we will get a smudged appearance after we visualize the gel. Just to have a band-like appearance of the protein, we use separating gel as well as stacking gel. See, this is the migration pattern through the stacking gel. And look, the protein is sandwiched between chloride as well as glycinate ions. Now, as soon as this complex enters separating gel, which again has a very higher pH, that is 8.8, and it is higher than the isoelectric point of glycine. So now glycinate ions will again be negatively charged, and it will move faster to the positive pole. And in this separating gel, now the proteins will be separated on the basis of molecular weight, and chloride and glycinate ions will run off the gel. Now, after your bromophenol blue diphront enters the end of the gel, you need to complete the run and stain the gel. Let's see how it is done. This is the migration front. Bromophenol blue, as I told you before, is a very small molecule, so it will migrate faster than any of the proteins. Then you just have to remove your gel from the gel plates. After carefully removing the gel, what you have to do, you have to take a plate where you can add any kind of stain. Most common stain is Kumasi blue. And within this Kumasi blue stain, you have to incubate the gel, and after incubation for stipulated period of time and washing the gel, you will visualize blue bands like this. You can also use different staining methods like silver staining, zinc staining, but Kumasi blue is the most cheap as well as easy method. Now, see, as you have loaded the protein ladder, this protein ladder will help you understand the molecular weight of different proteins present within your sample. Suppose you have a band here in sample number 1, and it corresponds to the 120 kilodalton band of the protein ladder. So you understand, okay, this band is composed of either one single or multiple proteins, all of which have molecular weight of 120 kilodalton. Similarly, in sample 2, here is a band. It corresponds to 42 kilodalton band of the protein ladder. So this band is actually composed of either a single protein or multiple proteins having molecular weight of 42 kilodalton. This is the implication of loading protein ladder within your gel. Okay. So this is in a nutshell the process of SDS page, and I hope these visual demonstrations have helped you to understand the process, and I thank all the participants for being so patient as my network was continuously running into congestion. And now I ask all of you to ask any question you have related to this process.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mitra. So you have vividly explained the topic to our students, and I'm sure our students have been benefited by your delivery. So now we are moving on to the question answering session. So any questions in the chat box? Let me check first.
Okay, Sushmita Nath has asked a question that is it possible to get a smearing or continuous band in SDS page? Yeah, there may be, there are multiple reasons for getting a smear or continuous band in SDS page. Number one, if protein preparation is not proper, suppose you have already degraded your protein, then you will get a smudged or smeared appearance within your gel. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if the pH of the stacking gel as well as resolving gel are not proper, like stacking gel must have a pH around 6.8, whereas the resolving gel must have pH around 8.8. If the pH is not properly maintained, then also you will get a smeared appearance. Another thing, if there is any power failure during the migration, that will also create smeared or smiley bands within the gel. Okay, Shuyanto
Khatra. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, she has asked one question. If there is more than one subunit in the protein, we will see separate bands. You will only see separate bands if the subunits of the protein have different molecular weight. If they have same molecular weight, like both are 50 kilodalton, then you will visualize only a single band. If one is 50 kilodalton, another one is say 30 kilodalton, you will observe two different bands. Okay.
Yeah.
Then,
another question by Sushmita, I think. Yes.
Okay, Shwanta actually has another question that can DNA be visualized in any way by page? Yeah. When we study the conformation of a DNA, like in our lab, we used a technique called SSCP, or single-stranded conformational polymorphism. In that technique, DNA is actually separated by polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis and not by agarose gel. Okay, Sushmita's question is, if after switching on current after electrophoresis, the gel is left in the buffer for some time and not taken out, will we still get bands? Actually, it depends on the time period. Protein needs some time to get diffused within the gel. So if there is a power failure for say for some minutes, like 5 to 10 minutes, then there won't be any problem. However, if there is a power cut for say half an hour or say 1 hour, then we'll get smudge appearance rather than bands. Nimona, what are the preventive measures that should be taken before carrying out the experiment? Actually, the most important preventive measure should be to keep the protein in its intact state. If protein is degraded, then all the experiment will be failed. And other things are the ingredients of your gel should not be contaminated, and the pH of the resolving as well as stacking gel should be properly checked. These are the preventive measures.
Okay, there is another questions by, I think, Swanta.
Okay. There are different SDS page apparatus available today. What should be most convenient to use? Yeah, different companies use different SDS page apparatus, but the basic design is same. They are all vertical apparatus, and in our lab we used apparatus made by Biorad. However, for demonstration purpose of students, you can use any apparatus available in the market. You have to check that the electrodes are working properly and the power pack is working properly. That's enough.
Yeah, Mimana, you want to ask another question to sir? Okay, I think that's all maybe. Okay, okay, Dr. Mitro, thank you so much for the informations. Really? Okay, I think she has given the question. Okay, we are moving to the question again.
Okay.
Yeah, you can read this. Yeah.
What should be the range of temperature to carry out experiment? Okay.
Yeah.
There are different temperature ranges. First, when you isolate the protein, that should be done at 4 degrees centigrade. When you prepare the protein, it has to be boiled at around 95 degrees centigrade to 100 degrees centigrade. Next, after you have loaded the protein into the gel can be run even in room temperature if you are performing SDS page. There is another variant of polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis that is known as native page. When you perform native page, that has to be done in very cold temperature around 4 degrees centigrade. So different variants of polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis requires different temperature ranges. But for simple SDS page, room temperature is enough.
Okay, I think that's all, Dr. Mitra. So thank you very much. So now, Aniruddha, you may proceed to conclude the session.
Thank Dr. Alpradip Mitro for a very nice presentation and very beautiful demonstration through the videos of the technique. And thank you a lot for kindly agreeing to give a presentation for the students of our college. I also thank the head of the Department of Zoology, Dr. Mala Bose, for her encouragement and support, which made the event possible. And I thank all other faculties of our Zoology department who have helped in various ways, starting from giving the idea about the holding this kind of a web lecture series and then making all the organizations and arrangements. So I thank all the faculty, each and every one of them, for their kind participation and support and encouragement. And I also thank the principal of Sarojini Naidu College for Women for her encouragement and support for holding this event. And last but not the least, I thank all the participants for their interest and attention and for asking the questions and trying to understand the topic. Thank you, everyone. I think that's all what we had to say. Next again, we will be. Maladi, yes, you wanted to say something?
Thank you, Arkudeep. Very nice. Especially the visual demonstration of the protein separation part is very good. Very nicely described.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
See you again in the college.
Okay, definitely, ma'am.
Yes. In our physical space. Thank you. Thank you, Arkudeep.
Thank you, Arkoda. I think you made my job easier when I have to teach again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, taking permission from all of you, I think, can I leave from this platform now?
Yes, I
Yes.
think we're all.
Yes, okay, okay.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much.
See you again.